Hey everyone, Mr. Clutch here. Going to look over today's hindsight recap. Look at the chart here on SPY and QQQ. I wasn't able to trade a lot today. I checked in a few times and was kind of watching the charts, but pretty much all afternoon I was not able to look. So I wanted to kind of see some of this I'll be seeing for the first time as well and going through this. So I've got the SPY 2 minute up here. I've got our zones marked. The first thing I see is this little trend line break out of the open. Sometimes we'll see these and they'll run really good, and this one definitely did. Not the cleanest trend line, and pre-market's always tough to draw trend lines, but you can see it kind of held this pre-market bottom here, and broke through right out of the gate and took off. So nice little move there. Those are risky to try to catch, but just something that I noticed at first glance there. And then it's really hard to find an entry. That's what I've noticed at first glance today is we just cannot, there's just not a good entry. This comes up, you're looking for a pullback when it clears the zone, pulls back, but all the way down, wicks through the 48, comes back up. Really hard to try to catch it. That's a little too steep. So comes back up, puts in what you'd think was a double top here, comes back down in this same area. So now we've got this little range from here to here that we're just bouncing back and forth between. So here it comes up off the 13. You're kind of looking here for a pullback, but just nothing really clean. And just it's a lot of what I'm seeing is a lot of in these moves up anyways and sideways. There's a lot of chop mixed in. So here comes a nice move down, but you could try to draw a trend line here, but it's just so steep. I usually don't like those really steep trend lines. So then it comes down. Looks like we're selling off, but holds here, comes back again here. It's still hard to find an entry. You could draw a trend line or draw a line like look how steep that is, and I guess you would have caught the exact bottom, but these steep lines are tough to use. So anyways, it's still really hard here to find something. Then we're climbing back up, and you get above the zone. Like I did see this little thing here, this is pretty much a flag back, but it's just really weird candles to try to draw it. But you see it bounce here off the 13. It's holding. You've got 2 wicks from the 13. You can get a nice entry there and ride that up. So then we hit the peak, and then it's coming down here, and again that's too steep. So you kind of let this reset and bounce along on the 13. And I think that we actually were drawing this one in the Discord. There was a thing here where if you go here, and because you really need 3 solid points for a trend line, but you could find a way to make one here, if you've got your wick and you wick through it, and then you got these two touch it, and it comes back around. This could have got you stopped out. You could have taken, this is a breakout here. With these really high wicks, like a high of the day, let's try to find a more even line, something like that. Ultimately, the thing to take away from here, it's not super important how you draw your trend line, but you want to make sure that you're not trying to make your trend line so it fits the narrative of the play you want to take, right? So always try to look at it different ways. So like someone had drawn this one in Discord. I really like that one as well. It came up second. This one, these got close to it. Nice third wick. But anyways, just keep that in mind. Don't draw your trend lines to fit the narrative of what you're looking at. I know we were looking at this. Casey had this drawn in Discord today, something like this, and I think I'd even was able to sketch in one that was down here, or maybe on Q's, but that kind of came through. And it's like, if we lose this, I think I said it in Discord, if we lose this, then it's likely gone, and sure enough, it was. So we come back down right off the bottom of our zone, and then we're just kind of chopping through here the rest of the way. There's not a lot to like down here. You could have probably done something like this and caught a little move here, even if you stayed in there. And that's technically that might be a decent flag right there, but it's not really a flag. It's just more of a kind of bad, because we're just going sideways here, so there's nothing to really flag, and it retraces almost all this down move. You could have caught something in here potentially, but you're trying to split hairs finding something there. You know, I'd noticed because I remember had a longer trend line drawn from the bottom. Just want to see how that reacted. Go all the way down here. So let's see how this draws out. You want to remember to look back over longer time frames and find trend lines. Yeah, look at this here. Might be kind of hard to see because we're on the 2 minute. Let's jump to the 5 minute just to look at it. So you've got how many touches here? And again, this isn't going to be perfect. I'm not going to zoom in and get every wick perfect, but here touches, you know, you got something through here in pre-market. You've got a couple perfect touches here. You've got, let's see, you've got, you know, almost a touch here. This almost lines up with the drop. So again, we could go back and draw this a little cleaner, but there's pretty much, this is the trend that's been riding up and coming back to this line. And when it finally broke, it broke. So you could have had that drawn and potentially caught this as we're really, we see we're breaking down out of this little channel and this long trend line. That could have been a really solid entry, even if you had it on the 2 minute and could see the same structure. You might have been able to catch right in here and catch that big move. So just keep in mind to zoom out and look at longer trends. Let's look at Qs here, see if it looks any different. Don't really see that move out of open as well. I mean, you might have, I guess, been tempted to take it if you look at, it's a similar trend line there. And sadly, you know, they didn't match it open, and SPY ran. So had you tried to take something here, then you would have, you know, you'd have got stopped out there. So I mean, this is like almost dizzying to look at. As you know, it's up, down, up, down, up. You hit the zone, down, chopping around the MA. Look how tight the MAs are. I mean, they're basically, you know, one ribbon right here. So it goes down below it, comes back through it, back to the zone, that sells off again. There's just not a really great spot there to find entry. I mean, in all this, you could draw a really steep line, and sometimes these steep lines work. And if you look at it, I mean, that would have worked, but there's just not a lot of perfect, you know, flag entry opportunities. Maybe the best one that I see here is, I like this one here. You know, it comes up, but you're still, man, you're entering so extended from the 13. I don't know if I would have necessarily taken that one. So, you know, you have another trend line here potentially. Let's see what that looks like. That one's not too bad. You know, you got several touches here. Yeah, it's just kind of, then it walks sideways. I don't know. I wish I had better, cleaner plays to show today, but this is tough. This was some tough action. Because then you just basically, like SPY, we climb back up here. Never really gives entry. You know, this one's not bad because of where I have the zone drawn. I could see you thinking, okay, we cleared it, we flagged back, we wicked down in, and try to get in here, and you may have been able to scalp a play there, and then it kind of sells back off. You know, you might have been tempted to do the same thing right here, kind of, and said, okay, so here we got a little flag coming down. Barely loses the 13, cuts back through it. You might have been able to get a play here, but I bet that wouldn't have moved super well as it kind of just walked up and sideways. And then catching that big move, I don't know. You could look here. How many wicks do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could probably get 5 or 6 wick touches in. Not quite. Yeah, maybe close to it, anyways. Something like that. Look at that. That almost lines up with this little flag. As we start breaking down, it kind of flags back here. You know, if you had drawn this out, this isn't a bad line here, and then it comes right up, and then you break down. You might have been able to catch that. That might have been potentially the best, you know, play of the day, right there on where you could actually find a good entry. And it's funny because I said don't find narratives for your trend lines, but that's kind of what I'm doing today, to be able to find some entry opportunities. Because it is tough. Looking at this chart, it's pretty tough. So I don't think you're stretching to, if you had that kind of drawn out already, just there, and then it kind of touches and flags a little there, that wouldn't have been the worst entry. But yeah, then late you're just chopping everywhere, and tough to find a really good move there as well. So not the cleanest of hindsights here. There's not a lot, and you know, you look at where we had zones on both of these here today, and we just kind of chopped in and out of the zone, went up, went down, and I guess it held for the most part. The pre-market low ended up being the low of the day, right in that zone. So overall, I hope everyone did well today, and maybe we'll see if we can get some cleaner action and moves tomorrow. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.